It's that time. Welcome to Roadmap, how to take 3 listings a week until you're ready for more. This is the Season 8 highlight show. And God, can you believe we're doing our 8th highlight show?
Can't. When you were telling me that, I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, you've been here 7 other times doing the highlight show.
All good. And
on
this
top,
is the best stuff.
On top of regular shows on an ongoing basis. So good. So we encourage you to take notes and apply as much of their knowledge as quickly as you can, and then use the copycat principle. So let me introduce my co-host from right here in Cincinnati. You've met her before, Sarah Close. Always great to have you here. Sarah has several Keller Williams offices throughout Southern Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, and Westchester, and Cincinnati, and serves, well, you've got a lot of Northern Kentucky business.
Yeah, we do. We've got Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky.
You got some Indiana going on?
We do, and about 570 agents, and they're awesome. So I'm very fortunate
to
get to work with a good group.
The number's going up.
Numbers going up.
That is great.
That's the way it's supposed to go.
That's the way it's supposed to go.
That's what we want. So.
That's the way it's supposed to go. So this highlight show is the market has changed, but the solution has not.
And you know what? Thank goodness the solution has not. That's what I love about this business, is that regardless of the market, the fundamentals never change.
Right.
This is going to be a great season.
Good news is if you use these fundamentals, you can pack your bags and move to another city.
Absolutely.
And pretty much keep on going without missing a beat.
Yes, that's exactly right. They are absolutely transferable to any market, as far as geographically speaking, and even in terms of the way that the market dynamics are changing.
Right.
It's just finding the motivated and then matching your message to the motivated.
Right. Carpet is carpet, paint is paint, windows are windows. You can move to any city and do this.
Absolutely.
And we've seen a lot of people do it.
Well, especially if you look outside and see how gray it is here, there's going to be a lot of people packing it out of Cincinnati.
When you think about the snowbird thing, we have a lot of real estate agents that have 2 markets.
Yeah.
Chicago and Orlando, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, kind of a bivocational agent.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's really doable in today's
very,
market.
very doable.
Absolutely.
And we all know many, many, many people doing that. Mm-hmm. And they didn't miss a beat. They were, they went down there and picked up 3 or 4 listings the first month.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Fundamentals don't change.
So pay attention. All right. So we're going to go down to Dallas. And Mr. Corey Daniel, all about expireds and just fail forward.
Absolutely.
If we don't get our mind right, this business will chew you up and spit you out. Because when you get really busy, it's very challenging to lead generate. And we know that's the one thing that keeps the business going. We took 5 listings this week for a total of 2.4 million in volume just this week alone. It was a good week. Yeah, it was a good week. Yeah. Thank you. And they were all off expired listings. Just pick up the phone and ask for business. Just fail through it. Ask for business, figure it out as you go, and you're going to pick up listings here and there. And before you know it, you're going to get this momentum, and it's just going to start popping. That's basically what I did.
There's a little subtle hint like, do it every day.
That's exactly right.
Focus on it and just make that your core business. It's not a now and then thing. People think I can do it now and then. Well, I'll prospect next week.
Well, and you can see what those results are. If an agent isn't consistent with their lead gen, the results aren't consistent either.
Right.
And what I love about what he said is that he's just like, pick up the phone and go do it.
Right.
And I think sometimes I know, even I can do this, like I feel like, oh, I can't do that yet because I'm not perfect. It's progress, not perfection. And it's moving through it and doing it anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to be caught in ready, aim. You want to be Nike.
Yeah.
Just do it.
There's a reason there's a swoosh.
Just do it. That's it. That's it. All right, let's go up to Detroit. I like the concept here. Just go ahead and act like you're their agent already. Mm-hmm. Just go ahead and act like you're their agent. Talk to them as if you are already in business with them.
Act as if.
So Mondays, we call all of our FSBOs that are in our pipeline. Tuesdays, we are sending them out a piece of direct mail. So they get a letter for 8 weeks, 8 pieces of direct mail over 8 weeks. Wednesday, they get our FSBO email. Mm-hmm. Thursday, they're getting, we do a Facebook custom audience so that FSBOs seeing our message, seeing our video, seeing our face in their Facebook, Instagram feeds.
Mhm.
Every Friday, we do a text message, and then we offer to do open houses for them on Saturday. So we're touching them
Oh.
6 times a week, all serving them. So it's no surprise we act as their agent, Ren, before they think they need one. So when the day comes where
I
they
love
need to
it.
hire an
Yeah,
agent,
I love
who
it.
do you
Yeah.
think gets the business every time?
Yeah.
Ding,
Of
ding,
course.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
What is on the Friday text? What does the text say?
The text always says, hey, Carly, Brandon here with Brookstone. Hey, wishing you best of luck this weekend. If something pops up, you need a contract, you have a question about an offer, be happy to be a second set of eyes for you. I'll be here all weekend for you if you need anything.
I absolutely love that. Like you're just, hey, I'm here to help if you need it. Like, that's great.
I'm
I love it.
serving you. I'm acting as your agent before I'm your agent.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. This is such a great strategy.
Thank you. It's worked really well.
Yeah.
He is selling a lot of property, so it is working at some good level because the man's doing a lot of deals.
Absolutely. You know what I love about what he was saying is he knew every single day what the messaging was going to be
Yeah.
for that for sale
Right.
by owner plan that they follow. He didn't have to like read his script or anything. He knows precisely what messaging they're going to do, and he just repeats it and repeats it and
Right.
repeats it.
So find a system and copy it because, if you have a plan, what do they say? If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail or something like that. We have in our industry, as most people know, there's a lot of winging it.
Mhm.
And then they'll get on a little tangent for a week or two. And then, a buyer from Chicago came in and I got a show for the next 2 weeks. And then everything they were doing falls apart.
Right.
So get a plan in place.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't negotiate it.
That's it. That's just my belief. But I think if you were not allowed to ever work with a buyer, ever, and you had to refer it out or get somebody that worked them for you, whatever, I believe you would sell more.
I don't disagree with you. What is it? The average number of hours that an agent will spend with a seller is 8. And then the average number purported to be spent with the buyer is 32.
Right.
4-to-1 efficiency right there.
But
Same
but
commission.
you think about those 32, that's where they finally gave up. But the 8, they sold it, closed. The 32, they're like, well, we're going to give it a break. We've looked at so many houses with you. We're going to see if something shows up next
Yeah,
year.
it's rough.
Right. There was someone I knew in the market where I sold a lot of houses. She had 5 kids, single mom. She could not work with a buyer. She listed so much property.
I bet. I
So,
bet.
yeah, she listed so much property because she couldn't work with a buyer.
Right. Right.
So consider it.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
So let's head down to Raleigh and our good friend Phil DeMuth. And here's a slight variation on the for sale by owner strategy.
I wanted to talk to 10 for sale by owners a day.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how many dials I needed to make, my goal was to talk to 10. And I used a dialer. I used a Vulcan7 dialer, and I would just call them. And my goal was to have 10 conversations. When I first got into it, it was just having conversations because I didn't know as much as I know now. Now it's a lot more direct conversations. My typical FSBO call takes about 10 minutes. And it's just pushing for face-to-face. And a lot of the stuff they ask, I just push to, well, that's a great question, and that's why we should meet. How does 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock work today? So I avoid the commission, I avoid things like that till I get face-to-face, because I learned if I could get in front of them, there was a high probability I'd get them to sign. So when I call FSBOs, I try to go for 5 closes. And what I used to do is I would get quarters. I'd have 5 quarters, and I would try to close them 5 different times. And one of 2 things would happen. They would either finally give me the appointment,
Or you'd walk away with $1.25.
yeah, or typically they would just hang up on me.
Oh.
And a lot of my agents would be like, well, if they hang up on you, you're going to call back? I said, yep, I'll call right back tomorrow and do it all over again. Because what people don't realize is typically these people are getting 100 calls a day. They're not going to remember you tomorrow.
So we have to avoid getting caught in doing the presentation over the phone.
That's exactly right. His point is excellent. If you are kind of caught off guard and start saying too much instead of saying, God, that's a great question, Ren.
Yeah.
Let's cover that when we get together.
Right. I haven't seen your house yet.
Right.
I always pretend when they would ask me a deeper question like that, I always pretend they said, can you come over? I mean, I just
Why,
pretend.
yes, I can.
So,
Is
yeah, they
Thursday
go,
at
well,
2 or 4
what are you
better?
going to do to get the home sold? And then I would go, hey, great. How does your schedule look for Thursday at 4? Or would 6 be better?
Yeah, when's a good time for me to show you?
And then occasionally they go, well, no, can't you just tell me over the phone? Well, I haven't seen your house yet.
That's
You know,
exactly right.
We don't do things cookie cutter.
That's exactly right. You're going to have a bespoke experience by working with me, and I
Right,
can't begin
right.
to describe what that should
Right,
be
right.
with any fiduciary if I don't see your home
Right.
first.
And then if they're begging off, like, you know, they'll say, listen, I can come by, take a look at your home, tell you how much it'll bring in today's market, how long it will take, and what it is. We sell so many homes in whatever their area
Right.
is. And, you know, if none of this makes any sense to you in the first 8 or 10 minutes, I'll just shake your
Yeah.
hand and be on my way.
Yeah,
And now you're reducing it to the ridiculous.
that's exactly right.
You-
And you know, the worst thing that'll possibly happen to you, Mr. Seller, is that you'll have another professional be able to give you an opinion on your home.
There you go. There you go. So,
Don't do the
don't do
appointment on the
don't do
phone.
it over the phone. Don't do it over the phone. All right, good deal. And let's and we intimated on that at the beginning. You've got to have a plan. You've
Right.
got to have a plan ahead. And you know, before you start the new year, if you're watching this when we recorded it, and if not, just do it anyway.
Yeah,
Get
it's
your
like-
business plan together. Get a morning routine.
Right.
You know, they say you can keep a morning routine every day. From the time you get up until noon every day,
Yep,
it
absolutely.
can look exactly the same. What
Absolutely.
happens in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Maybe you've got 5 new listings. Maybe you got 5 new pendings. Maybe you have 5 closings. But you know, the afternoon can be a little wonky. But you can have a perfect schedule
Yes.
from the time you get up till noon every day.
And if you do have that perfect schedule, that's going to assure that you have those 5 listings, 5 closings down the road in that afternoon
Right.
for that next wonky Thursday afternoon if
That-
you've got a pristine Thursday morning
That's
repeatedly.
it. That's it. Yeah, that's the only way to get it. It's the chicken or the egg.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good deal. Well, let's see what Anne Gorey has to say about that.
All right.
You prospect 5 days a week. Is that about right?
Mm-hmm.
So are there days of those 5 days when you're scheduled to do that you just like, I don't want to?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
What is the accountability component, or what is it that causes you to do it on the days you don't feel like it?
I think reviewing my goals has been really important. That was something I didn't do last year, which I've been doing this year. So before I even get started this year, I take out my business plan for the year, and I also have like a little goal board. And rather than just having it on my wall and it becoming kind of, background noise, I just take the time to get it out and actually look at it. And that definitely just reminds me of what I need to do.
I know so many people put it together and plan, and then it just becomes background
Yeah,
noise.
collects dust.
Yeah. I have one coaching client years ago in Montreal, Denny Pelletier.
Oh, I went to meet
Yeah,
with
that's
you.
right.
I did. Yeah.
That's right.
That
We
was very cool.
That's right. I forgot. We
Yeah.
went up to Montreal to meet with him. He had his business plan out on his desk every day. He looked at it in the morning, and he looked at it in the afternoon.
Mhm.
Every day for the whole year. Every day he went through it twice a day.
Yeah.
Now maybe that's overkill, but yeah, maybe you could
It
just
obviously worked for him.
It worked well. It worked
Yeah.
very, very well.
Absolutely.
So having that plan
Yeah.
and then executing, because we have to have that consistency 5 days a week. And then I wrote down 12 months a year. I can't tell you how many times I would call past clients November, December, January, February, and then I'd stop calling them for the other 8 months.
Yeah. Yeah, because you got busy.
Right, but that hurt me so badly.
I know.
You do an 8-month gap talking to your database, your past
That's
clients.
right. That's right. One of the things we talk an awful
And I only
lot
got through
about-
A through M.
Well, yeah, see, so there's a plan for that, and it's called a DTD2 that has been introduced by a guy
Is that
named
like
Steve Schlater.
R2D2?
It is like R2D2, only it pays.
Okay.
And so every week of the quarter, you take 2 letters out of the alphabet and call that client that starts with those 2 names. And then you'll get all the way through your database in the 13-week quarter.
Okay.
So it works.
Okay.
It's
All
good
right.
stuff.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, that's fun. All righty. So this next one, Justin Ford, I really liked he made like 6 different points that he operates his business by. And again, notice there's a pattern to this.
Yep.
There's structure, and these are worth writing down. So here's
Absolutely.
Justin.
I've created what I call the 6 keys to success. And the 6 keys basically give you that roadmap on how to overcome that rejection and really set yourself up for success. And number 1 is you have to start with a goal. You know, what is your goal? And I remember my very first year in the business, my goal was to sell 100 homes my first year. And I remember coming back from a retreat. It was actually a Mike Ferry retreat. And, you know, Mike had said, it was in January, he said, hey, what's everybody's goal this year? And my goal was to sell 100 homes my first year. Everybody thought I was crazy, but I believed it. And so I came up with a plan of what do I need to do every single day? How many people do I need to talk to every hour, right? Every day, every week, how many listings, how many appointments, all the way to show, okay, if I do this, this leads me to this. But then number 2 is I have to discover my why. Why do I want this? Why am I getting on the phones? What is the end result? And what does that ultimately lead to? And why is that important for me? And what I've noticed is you have to have a why that's bigger than that knot in your stomach when you don't feel like it. You have to have a why that is bigger than I don't feel like it. Because if your why is not big enough, then you won't show up, right? You'll be inconsistent. But then number 3, Ren, I think is the big one, to create a strong mindset. And mindset is the thing that causes people to get on the phones and not get on the phones. Mindset is the thing that causes people to be consistent and those that kind of back off when they don't feel like it. And what's great about mindset is you can learn how to create a strong mindset. So maybe today you don't have a good mindset. Maybe today you're struggling with rejection. Maybe today there's things internally that are causing you to really struggle getting on the phones and being consistent. But what's great is you can put a plan in place on how to strengthen your mindset. And then number 4 is you have to make a commitment, because without a commitment, what's the point in even showing up? Number 5 is discipline. You have to have discipline. Discipline is the thing that sets people apart that are winning and people that are not. And then number 6 is accountability, right? If you're going to commit to getting on the phones and you're going to commit to making calls, find an accountability partner, find a coach, find a mentor, somebody that can hold you accountable to the first 5. And when you put those 6 keys, you know, in place, I found those are the 6 keys to success. It really equips someone, gives someone what they need to succeed on the phones.
Yeah, I wrote down one thing he said because he was talking about accountability. It's such a huge piece. And he did mention coaching as one of the options there. I've come to realize anybody that is in coaching gets a return on their investment. Coaching's basically, not only is it free, it pays you to be in it.
Absolutely.
Unless you're not showing up and you're not doing anything.
Right.
But I mean, that is the best bang for the buck to
Absolutely.
get consistency.
And I think, one of the concerns I have for an agent who's not thinking like that is that as the market changes and you see some different dynamics out there, that it's easy to say, oh my gosh, I need to make a reduction in my expenses, therefore I'm going to cut coaching. It's absolutely the last thing that
Right.
should be removed from an expense P&L.
Right.
Absolutely the last thing.
Right. I'd cut Starbucks and everything else.
There you
and then
go.
Keep the
Probably
coaching.
have enough for coaching if you added up all your Starbucks.
When I think of some of the really super achievers that I knew, they would hire a second coach and then a third coach because they figured this ROI piece. This coach has helped me make this many. This coach has helped me,
It makes a huge difference.
Right.
It really does. The other thing that he said that he just kind of glanced over, but I don't want to go on without highlighting it, is he mentioned that he was in a seminar in January, his very first year of the business. And so what I like about that is he's not waiting until he's selling 100 units to get education. He's jumping right in, and at that point, he maybe hadn't even started yet.
Right.
And he's already at a retreat.
The biggest mistake I ever made was not doing it for the first 3 years, winging it for the first 3 years, selling. Actually, it's technically a respectable number, I suppose, 19 transactions. But I looked back on it and go, my first 3 years were wasted.
Yeah, the opportunity cost
looking
is
around the
huge.
office, what should I do? What should I do? And people that have been in the business are trying to saddle me up to hold their houses open.
That's exactly
and
right.
And then the phone's ringing with all these knucklehead magic answers,
Right.
trying to sign me up, and so you get caught up in all that.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is find a best practices.
Exactly.
Go and
Just
follow
put your
those,
head down and do it.
right, follow those best practices. You know, give yourself a chance. there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Give
It's the
yourself
biggest favor you can do to yourself.
Give yourself a chance. So, good. This next one talks about routine, one of my favorite subjects. Shonna Ruble. I talked to Shonna the other day.
You know, you come into real estate and you think like, oh, I've got to be good at marketing. I have to do all these things. We actually have one job, right? Real estate agents, your one job is to get that one appointment every single day. Everything else is busy work. But if you don't grow your company and you're not from a mindset of being in production, then what you're doing is you're failing your teammates. You know, I tell people like, I have to show up every day so my admin and my agents can afford to put food on their table, or they can afford braces or glasses for their children. And that means like I do the one job that I've done for the last 17 years that I love, and that's go after one appointment. Actually, it's funny. Once you have a few days of not actually doing your lead gen, like on a Monday, it's hard to remember like your scripts. But when you do it every single day, as soon as someone opens their mouth on the other end of that phone, I already know what my rebuttal is going to be, because we only get so many actual rebuttals, right? That somebody's going to throw at me. And as soon as they're talking, I already know what I'm going to say. And that just comes over time, and it's going through like the pain of saying it over and over and over, and just actually knowing what to say and when to say it, and having enough people to say it to.
So what she's talking about there that is so, it's subtle, but it's so powerful, is that she's showing up every single day. That's what she is expecting to do when she gets out of bed in the morning. That's her whole persona is programmed to do that 5 days a week. And that's why she's getting those predictable results.
And she commented the routine around it. And routines pull you. Think about any part of your life where you have a routine. Brushing your teeth.
Yep, you're on autopilot.
Right. You don't think about it. You don't go, I haven't brushed them in a few days. Maybe I'll wait till tomorrow. I'll just brush them for a half an hour on Friday.
Right.
You don't do it. There's a routine around it.
Exactly.
You don't get up and go, should I put on a sock and a shoe and a sock and a shoe, or should I put on 2 socks and then 2 shoes? I mean, we have a routine around everything we do.
Exactly.
And when you set that rhythm up, that's why if you get from the time you get up till noon.
Right. It builds an incredible efficiency.
You can become a machine that pumps out listings.
And what she was saying is her job is just to get one appointment a day. It's not to get 5 in one day or do some other superhuman, exercise. It's one appointment a day.
That makes perfect sense.
It does.
I like that. I like that a lot. And she said she's been doing that for 17 years.
Yeah, that's a lot of houses.
Yeah. And with a routine, there's a lot less energy. When you're not in routine, the energy required is so much higher.
Exactly.
But when it's routine, it's just so automatic.
Yeah.
It just flows.
Absolutely. And she's got her scripts right at the tip of her tongue because she's used them as recently as yesterday.
Yeah.
So, huge time savings.
What do they call that? Unconscious competence.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I'd say she's quite competent.
Yes. Yes. So let's go to Los Angeles and visit our good friend, Kathren Hatayama. As she would say, prospecting equals predictable income.
That's what we're all looking for.
I like predictable income.
The year before I got into calling, I was getting deals from people I know and, my husband's network of people, but it wasn't predictable. And I really disliked that. And I thought to myself, this is not how I can't live my life like this. I can't cross my fingers and sit here and think, I hope I get something this month. Like that's not my personality at all. I just can't. So when I decided to take charge of my business and have more control, I decided to integrate this into my everyday routine. If people have success from it, I don't care what they're doing. I will do exactly what they do. I'm very coachable like that. So repeat and duplicate. That's all we have to do here. So if this person's having success, let me just do exactly what they're doing. Oh, they're calling people. They're making their contacts every day. They're being held accountable. They have coaching. Of course. All our answers are in front of us. Whether we want to work them and do them is up to us.
Well said.
That's it. That's it. Repeat and duplicate.
Yeah,
And,
she has no ego in that.
Copycat
If it's a good
principle.
idea and
Yeah.
it works, she's going
Right.
to do it. She's not going to worry about the
Right.
creativity part.
Right. Just like
Brilliant.
Justin Ford in his first year went in there, like, what are the best practices?
Yep.
I'm following them.
Exactly. Very
So
simple.
good. And very, same idea. Let's go let's cross back over.
We've been all over the place.
I know,
today.
but we're going to go from LA to Hoboken.
All right.
Hoboken, New Jersey. Dean Clark. So he talks about being a hunter. And I like that. I mean, there's a hunter mindset. If you have a hunter mindset, you're going to be wealthy. That's just the way it is.
And so one thing that I've always loved doing, even in my finance days before real estate, was that you have to be a hunter and you have to go out there and actually look for business. If you don't, and you always rely on either paid sources or something else, you're always going to be at the whims of the market. And so if it goes down, then your production goes down. But if you stay in the game 5 days a week and you're consistently generating business, what was that saying that they said, like, whenever you generate, you can, you don't have to tolerate, right? And so it's so true.
Very well said.
Very well said. Very well said. If you generate, you don't have to tolerate. Yeah, because it's so much easier to just say next.
Absolutely.
Have another conversation. Oh, they're a lot more interested. That's the thing. So many real estate agents are working with people that are like, maybe they'll do something. Maybe I can convince them to do something because they're not having enough conversations.
Yeah, because there's a fear of loss because they don't know what would replace it
Right.
if they were to choose to, not engage with that client right now.
But if they're having, a couple dozen conversations every day, they wouldn't think twice about it because
That's right.
they go, tomorrow I'll find a better one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in fact, this next person from Philly, Mr. Tom Toole, talks about just that. Whoever has the most conversations is the winner. Well, let's see what Tom Toole has to say.
I made the decision to go out and bring in listings, find people that were really motivated. And I was reading a book and it said the best places to get your business from, the first was your sphere. And I'm like, all right, great. I've already done that. Second was expired listings. Third was for sale by owners because the people were motivated, right? Expireds, they sign a contract with an agent. So they believe in realtors. They let people come through their home, which is a total pain in the butt. They had open houses. They did all the things except pick the right agent. So that tells me there's some motivation there. And for sale by owners, a little different, but they're literally raising their hand saying, hey, I want to go sell my house. I'm just not sure if an agent's the right move for me. So when I heard that, I put the book down and I started prospecting expires and for sale by owners. And that literally has driven our business, being a call first company, ever since that started.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Wow.
So talk to us about your lead generation. What does that look like in your team? And, how are you getting after those targets?
Sure. So, there's a couple ways we do that. I mean, I was an individual agent in production. I was doing 90 homes a year for 10 years straight. And these were pretty much all listings up until jumping out of production last year as our team grew. So my day-to-day was expired listings, people that were hot and had some motivation, leveraging the software and technology to make as many contacts as I could, because whoever talks to the most people, they go on the most appointments and they sell the most houses. It's not rocket science here. That's what I love about real estate. It's all about the people that have the will to win and have the mindset to do it every day. Because there's going to be some days when you don't feel like making calls. I mean, it happens to everybody. It's when you push through anyway and let that discipline carry you when you're not that motivated. So for me, and I got hooked up with Vulcan7, obviously, through our coaching organization. They had recommended it that I work with Tom Ferry and his coaches there. And I remember vividly the first time I even was aware of the software, my coach says to me, "You're not using a dialer? Are you kidding me?" And hung up the phone on me. And I was like, man, I'm an idiot. I should, cause I'm manually dialing all these people. And I was still taking listings. That wasn't the problem. But it's an efficiency question, right? I mean, you manually dial someone and don't have and look up the phone number and do all that stuff. It's taking you 8-10 minutes to actually get on a call. That's just one call, right? That's not all of them. So by utilizing software and data and all the different things that are out there, and being able to talk to 15, 20 people in 2 hours and make 100 to 150 dials, I mean, that's where you can really scale a business. So that's really what lead generation looks like at our team. Is we're leveraging software. We're creating our call lists in advance. We're coming in super prepared because there's always like a prime time to make phone calls. You guys all know this, right? And we want to be ready to execute during that time to make it as profitable and as productive as possible. So it's really about prep, software, phone skills, scripting, role play, all the stuff you've probably heard before that most people just never want to commit to doing.
I wrote down, he's running it like a business.
He is, absolutely. You know, we're getting into the market of more, where we're going to be doing more calls. We're going to need to spend more time in our lead generation activities. And what I love about him is that he's coming into that prime time totally locked and loaded and ready to go. He's not wasting that first of the morning energy on getting ready to get ready. He's got his call list. Everybody knows what they're going to be doing, and then they can just hit it, and then they can go. So it's incredibly efficient what he's doing.
Absolutely. Well set up. I want to comment on, because the market changed a lot over the last 6-8 months from one market to the other. I was saying to somebody the other day that if I was brand new in the business, I find that where we are now would be a better entry point than it would have been a year ago or 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
Because it must have been frustrating, you know, when you're one of 22 offers, because if you're
Sure.
brand new in the business, you're probably working buyers. And,
Yeah.
you know, unless they're all cash.
Right. Right. And you probably, you know, aren't having necessarily the nuance and experience to get your offer accepted. So
Right.
it is a
Right.
much more, we moved from kind of a speed-based business to more of a skill-based business.
Yep.
And the good news is skill is available to everyone that chooses to go get it.
And that's the biggest need. And I'm glad you touched on that, because skill, you know, they actually need your services.
That's right.
now. And you got to be skilled. You've got to
That's right.
have all your market knowledge.
Yeah.
You have to have a strategy. You have to have a batting average. You have to be good at this. So you better get skilled, because we're going to lose, what do we have, 1.4, 1.5 million real tours?
We have a lot. Yeah.
And
we have a lot of real
that'll
tours.
drop down. We'll lose about a third of them for strictly because of a narrative out there, because news likes to upset you, that, oh, this is a terrible time.
Right. Right.
Which I find interesting.
Well, and what's interesting is if you think about when that exodus will happen, it's going to take a little while.
Yeah.
But the market, in terms of the number of units that are actually transacting, has already shifted.
Yeah.
So we were, 6.1 last year, and I think we're targeted to end this year at 4.8 million units sold.
Right.
And we're
That sounds about
expecting
right, yeah.
expecting that to change again
Right,
next year.
Right. So it's a drop from like roughly,
What,
you know,
18% or so?
right. Yeah, something like that, which is not horrible, but
Not at all.
But and
It's not horrible at all. And if you're skill-based, those
Right.
those clients want to be speaking with you because they want to know, why didn't I sell in 3 hours
right.
when my neighbor did in April?
You know, somebody did an interesting chart, and it showed buying a house 6 months ago and buying a house now. It came on the market at 450, you know, 6 months ago. It sold for 500, and this is what the payment would be.
Yeah.
Now it comes on the market for 450. It sells for 4.25, and this was what the payment would be. Not a big difference in the payment.
Right, right. No, that's really true.
Right.
That's really
And
true.
it's not that homes are going down in price.
No.
It's just they're not selling for a premium because the froth is gone.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the simple fact is there's no homes to buy or rent. There's still,
Yeah.
the NAR, I don't remember what the title is exactly, but basically that studies all the statistics, inventories, and everything like that. And it's probably one of the few news reports I saw that was accurate. He said, we're not going to have significant declines in prices, but what
because we're still technically in a seller market.
right, because when you go from a 2-month supply to a 3.5 month supply,
Right.
you're still in fact, the builders are building a little less, and we're actually going into a market that's even worse, where we're going to have even less homes available. And so all the houses will sell pretty quickly. But
It's just, will you be the listing agent?
right. And it'll be easier to be a listing agent now than it would be 6 months ago, because all you have to do is study a little bit, get your best practices, and list these properties.
Absolutely.
And you're still going to sell most of them. That's
You
the
are.
nice thing. You're going to sell most of them. We didn't have that in 2007 or 8.
No, that was not fun.
You would list 20 and you would sell 7. Now you'll list 20 and sell 18 or 19.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And if you're working with a buyer, they finally have some choice and they don't have to make a panicky decision in 5 minutes that they're going to want to back out of tomorrow when they have buyer's remorse. It's actually, I think the market conditions that we're moving through are far improved to be able to act as a professional in our field.
Right. This is so much better. You know, it's always dangerous when they don't need your services. And if that goes on for too long of a time, then all kinds of bad things happen where they find a way not to use your services.
Yep.
Good. Well, thanks for being here. This was another season highlight show on the books.
Absolutely.
And,
Season 8.
Season
It's a
8.
wrap.
And our studio director doesn't like it when I bang papers around, which I've done during the show. So come back for more of that. We'll see you next week.
Have a great holiday.